Hello and welcome to the Soda Channel. I've been talking to Betty a lot lately. Well, this week all sorts of things have happened. We got Donald Trump at the G7. We got Tommy Robson in prison, and there's been a demo on Saturday. I hope Betty asks me about that in a minute. But Betty, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I
How
can
are
see.
you?
Yeah, what time in the morning is it there?
It is 6:45 a.m.
Oh, you're keen.
Yes,
It's
6:45 a.m.
Yeah, 12:45 here, lunchtime. Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Oh, loads has been happening. We've got Brexit on the go over here, and the government is in disarray. Boris Johnson was secretly recorded, um, and then that was all over the papers. So he was
Wow.
talking. He was talking to Tory party donors, and they leaked the tape.
Oh my goodness.
So, know who your friends are. I think
Uh,
it was to try and embarrass him. The only problem is he was right. They are trying to get us a Norwegian style. Do you know what the Norwegians' relationship is with the EU?
I don't know.
Right. The Norwegians are not in the single market or the single currency within the EU. They don't
Oh,
have
okay.
any members of the European Union that are elected, so they're not
Oh,
in the
okay.
parliament. But for Norway voted to be in the European Union, the people rejected it. But what the government did is they signed them up to the single market
Oh.
and the customs union. So Norway pay to be a member of the EU without any representation.
Oh, so since they paid and they didn't have representation, then they're still not part of the EU then.
No. But they've got a, if the EU put through rules, because they've signed up to the customs union and the single market, they have to
Mhm.
have the same rules and laws.
So really they just kind of got
They got it, but they ain't got it.
they got messed up. They
Yeah.
didn't get what they wanted. They got scammed, kind of.
Yeah. So they've got taxation without representation.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah, if they're paying a fee to be a member of the European Union, that's the
Yeah.
people's money being used, and the people's money is the taxes.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So in the UK, we voted to come out, Brexit,
Uh-huh.
but we've got a prime minister that was for remaining. We've
Hmm.
got a chancellor, Hammond, who wanted to remain in. Yet we have a number of MPs, Boris Johnson, Gove, and my MP, who is Liam Fox, which are called the Brexiteers. And they're the people that want to come out of the EU.
Oh, okay.
But
Now,
what it looks like is what they're trying to do is use the Northern Ireland question, which is the border between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, which is now open because we're both in the EU. But if we
uh-huh.
come out of the EU, the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland will be closed.
Oh, so then Ireland won't even be able to come there.
Well, you'll be able to cross, but there will be border guards. It will be a closed border, not an open border.
Okay, so pretty much they're still in the tax dollars monies in Ireland then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And saying that they're part because they were promised to be part of the EU,
The
but they're just still in the money and not part of the EU.
yeah.
And now they're going to close the borders, and then they're still taking their money,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. No, the Ireland, Southern Ireland, is in the EU, and they've got MEPs. That's not a problem. It's Northern Ireland that's a problem because the Northern Ireland is linked to Britain.
Okay, so where is Northern Ireland? Because
On
my
the top six counties.
Is that by where my ancestors are from?
No, they're from Southern Ireland.
Southern Ireland? Okay.
Right.
So I'm still Southern either way.
Ireland is an island off the coast of Britain.
Yeah. That's what
Right?
they said. They said that. Yeah, they said that
Right.
the Innis was from Ireland.
Yeah, and you've got the 6 counties at the top that remained with the United Kingdom.
Oh, interesting.
And the Southern Irish, which is the majority of Ireland, which are Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
and they got their independence in the 1920s. Because that's when
Okay.
the IRA started, and they were being supplied by the Germans.
Oh, wow.
The Germans were supplying the IRA.
So let me ask you this. I had heard, and I don't know a ton about it, but I do know in order for us to take down the cabal, okay, we have to crash the market completely,
Yeah,
and we have to get rid of the Federal Reserve
yeah,
to where we're not paying $9 million a day to the UK
yes,
because that was a hoax and the biggest scam ever, the Federal Reserve, and that's where all them bad people own.
yeah.
You know, all the bad people own it. And they've made it to where our dollar ain't even worth a dollar.
Yeah.
So we have to somehow come up with the way that JFK was doing it was that he was going to make our dollar worth a silver dollar.
Yes.
And so I think that Trump is doing something to that effect to where we're not going to be with the Federal Reserve anymore. All of our currency is going to change, but they said that we may have martial law here for a time,
Yeah.
just for a time, so that they can get everything squared away. And we're probably going to go back to gold and silver and stuff like that.
Well, if you
To
had
get
martial law under Obama or Hillary Clinton,
we'd be in camps.
That would be bad news.
Yeah, we would be in them FEMA camps.
Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
under Trump, if he can get rid of the bad guys to start with, then
Right.
we might have a chance.
Yeah, they said, well, that's what I'm saying. He's trying to free you guys as well. You know, he's trying to free everybody from this Federal Reserve
Yeah.
lying, scamming thing. Because when he found out that $9 million of our tax money is going to the UK every single day, no, we paid that off a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's why JFK signed off on it.
Yeah.
You know,
But then
because
but then we still own America debt from the 2 last world wars.
right, and then that was all
So
done
we're
by the
paying you
Illuminati
back.
too. Yeah, and that was done by the Illuminati too. None of those wars should have even happened.
Yeah.
They were all a lie. And that's what's so sad, you know, is look how many people died out of all of those wars.
Well, the First World War was horrendous.
Oh, yes.
You know, it was mechanized war with the handbooks they had for cavalry tactics.
Well, they told us it's getting ready to go down. I think June 11th is when the indictments are getting ready to be unsealed. We've got a couple of the people, and I'm trying to think of who exactly it is, but they're like begging for clemency and all this stuff that were big time, you know, Trump attackers and stuff. And they were always attacking him and constantly. Well, now they're like pleading with him, please don't put us in prison. Well, remember, no deals, no deals, no deals, because they're all involved in being a pedivore.
What happened in Arizona? You know, there's little clips on YouTube of the veterans going down there finding camps or things. What exactly is that? Do you know?
Did I send you? Yeah. Oh, I know everything about it. I followed it from day one. Okay. Did I send you the clip where it actually showed the camp?
Yes.
And it showed where they had the condoms, the lotion, the rape trees, the actual rape trees.
Yes, I've seen all that.
Okay, because a lot of people don't have the video that I think I sent to you. Because this was a special video that was made that wasn't sent out to the public. It wasn't sent out to the public. Because there are some things you can't send to the public. You know what I mean? They had to cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
got
telling
that.
you,
Okay.
okay, when I saw that, okay, they've got like they had like a branch, well not a branch, but like a piece of wood about that big, for a child.
Yeah.
And they would put their head up over it, and then they would snap, put like a belt thing and hold their neck. And then down at the bottom they'd have like another piece of wood where their bottom would sit on it. And there was also blood on the trees. There was scratch marks, on the trees. There was this thing where you pull it a long distance away. And so when the kid was getting raped and somebody was coming, they would pull it, meaning that person needs to stop raping that kid. They found 80 pairs of shoes, different kinds of shoes, different sizes of shoes, car seats, booties, playpens, condoms used and unused, tons of lotion, and down inside was like a some kind of sewer plastic thing
Yeah.
that they had these kids down inside. No
Yeah,
ventilation.
no way would that have ever. They tried to say on one of the mainstream media sites
That it was a homeless
the
camp.
police said that there was nothing to see and it was just a child's playground. Well,
No.
kids when they make
Oh.
dens don't make dens they can't get out of.
That's exactly right. And there was no ventilation. I mean, there's no way that them kids could even breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even people who were homeless has came and seen that camp and said they'd never in their life seen a camp like this, ever in their life, ever.
What about the skull they found? Have they said any more about that?
Okay, well, I want to finish on about what happened. Okay, so the BOP, which Veterans on Patrol, stayed there for 6 days, begging the police, the the FBI, the government, everybody to come out and look and take evidence because they found a knife, panties, and a woman's airplane ticket. And that woman's airplane ticket, she came from Seattle, okay? And as soon as she arrived in Arizona, she was never heard from again.
Wow.
Ever. And the knife had blood on it.
Mm.
And so they went and they looked up her Facebook, and she had not did a post since December 15th. So she's been missing that long. All right, so then not too far away from it, on a property called BLM, not Black Lives Matter, but is also owned by Soros.
Yeah.
That's where they found the skull of a child, and then they found the skull, it had been decapitated, its arms had been sawed off, and like the spine part,
Yeah.
it was cut right there. And then inside of the brain, where I told you they eat that pineal gland, I've been sending you information on that. That was cut too, where the pineal gland was out.
Wow.
And it still had fluid and stuff in it, and it was still decaying. But you got to think, it's in 110-degree weather,
Yeah.
right?
Do they know what sort of time that body was killed?
No, actually, you know what the police did? They came and took it, and then they lied to the public and said it was just a man.
No, how can they do that?
Well, because the Rothschild, Jonathan Rothschild, is the mayor.
Ah.
Senator McCain,
Yeah.
the one asking for clemency right now, is the senator.
Oh, are they involved in this or not?
Yes, and did you know right down the road is a school called Saibano or something?
Yeah.
And where the A is a little boy lover swirl.
Yes. Yes, I've seen a photograph of that.
I found all that.
Yeah.
And I also found that the Cemex company, which is a cement company,
Yeah.
in the 1980s, the 1970s, somebody came up with using blood in cement. In the 1980s, they got a grant to put blood in cement.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was through Cemex.
Yeah.
I got all that documentation. Who in the hell wants blood in their cement? And what does it do?
That's a good question. But blood in cement. But the question is, where do they get the blood from?
Exactly. And they're saying a dead corpse goes into it too.
Well, I know this is making light of it, and I shouldn't do it. But they reckon they used to put dead rats inside it to help ferment it, but there's no proof of that at all.
That's disgusting. I'm not ever drinking cider again. That is gross.
I don't put apples in my cider. I just take the apples off the trees, mash it up, then squash it and take all the juice out. So all you've got is pure apple juice, right?
Well, yeah, see, that's good.
And you use a hydrologer to measure wine.
Right, yes.
You put it in and measure it. Well, to start with, you've got all the sugar content.
Yes.
And it's pure sugar. And
yes.
then that sugar then turns to alcohol. Well, I reckon one batch of cider that I made turned into apple wine, and it was 12 proof.
Oh my goodness. I can see you drinking 12 proof wine. Okay, so let me tell you all the digging I've done and everything. Okay, so when the human body was found, the child, I mean, you can see where someone put
their small one, isn't it?
Yeah, because they put their foot right beside it, and it only came to like this much of their foot. But I mean, like barely. You can tell it's a child's skull. Well, they played it off like it wasn't. Then they went to the camp, and instead of taking DNA off the trees and the blood like you're normally supposed to do, like they would do here where I live, they would be all over it. They bulldozed it down.
No.
Yep.
Surely that's getting rid of evidence.
They went in and they bulldozed the whole thing down. And then the police department was there and patrolling the area and staying on site for CEMEX. For CEMEX. For like 5 days or something. Then I found out, I did a little bit of research because you know me and my researching.
Yeah.
I found out that in 2015, there was a 12-year-old little girl, 12 years old, that had been trafficked and raped. Well, she got in contact with the police department, okay? The police department came and picked her up, and then they kidnapped and raped her.
No.
And had her as a sex slave, and she is suing them right now in Arizona.
Good for her.
Yes.
But surely it's the police we should be...
They're all in on it. Yeah, but they're all in on it. And that...
They are supposed to work for us.
Oh, well, did you see what happened to me yesterday?
No.
Okay, well, I was just sitting there minding my own business, and my modeling page, right? Fans of Betty Washam, right?
Yeah.
This woman comes on and says that my ass is as flat as I think that the world, as I think that the world is, or something like that. The planet is, or something. And I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, who are you? And she gives me a 1 star.
If a lady's saying you got a flat bum, I would have thought that was a compliment. Not having a big bum.
And this lady had a big bum, okay, and ugly. Okay, so then I'm like, who is this woman? So we go back and forth with each other. Well, then she starts sending all her trolls and giving me 1 star reviews. One troll made a mistake. He has been a sheriff, or he has been a police officer for Detroit, Michigan for 20 years.
Yeah.
He came on my page and gave me a 1 star and said, is this a joke? This has got to be a joke about me, about who I am. And I wrote him back and I said, you know what? I said, you, of all people, should know never to harass anyone on social media, whether you be in uniform or not. You are supposed to protect and serve. And I said, and you are harassing me. I said, you can check every search engine there is and you will find me. I'm not a joke. I am who I say I am. And so I went through all of his stuff. I got his badge number. I mean, you know me, I'm a researcher like crazy. So the whole time he's mouthing, I'm snapping pictures on my phone of every single thing off his Facebook, his name, his badge number, his car number, everything. And then I told him, I sent it back to him, and I said, you don't know me. And I said, I'm calling your boss Monday morning. I said, because you just lost your job. Because you cannot, because even people can't go and harass people anymore on social media. They lose their jobs, right?
Well, they tried to get me for the 2 Sandy Hook videos I've got, which I had permission from the original makers of the videos to put up. One was from James Fester, and the other one, I can't remember the guy's name, but I said, you know, before I re-upload it onto my YouTube channel, I think it's a good video, I think it's right, I think it's telling the story. Is it okay? And he said, yes, no problem. Those 2 videos were taken down off of YouTube, off of my Cider Party channel, for harassment.
Oh my goodness.
Who was I harassing?
No one. No one, because you was actually just saying the news.
The other one, to get the 3rd strike to close my channel down, they used a piece of music that I had, that somebody had done for me, which would have been classed as royalty free.
Right, yeah.
And it was somebody doing a copy or a cover of John Lennon's Just Give Me the Truth, which was on our first video.
Right.
And that's why they closed my channel down. They used that as an excuse, saying it was a copyright violation. The matter is,
you know,
I could have done that piece of music. Then
right.
Where would I be?
Exactly. And see, that's another thing. Like I told you, I have never been live on YouTube. And I have been banned back to back 120 days globally to even go live. They've never took down a video of mine. I've never had a strike. I've never been live. What the hell are they afraid of?
Yeah.
And you know what I think that they do, Ian, is they keep me in this one little tiny like circle, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as my videos start hitting 2,000, 3,000 people just from my Betty Washam, they'll throw me into group jail.
Yeah.
And then I can't share any of my videos.
Well, I was getting 3,000 to 4,000 views on my videos. And I think I was getting more of that, because as soon as they got up to around 4,000, the views would just stop.
Yep.
And I don't believe that they just stop. They may slow down.
Well, what my people told me,
be the odd 1 or 2 that click onto it.
Right. What my people told me on Facebook was they told me that every time that they try to click share on mine, they took the algorithm off and they couldn't share it. So then I started putting my videos on YouTube and they're able to share it. But then it's starting to show that sometimes they can't even play it. So I'm wondering why I've been banned back to back 120 days to go live globally. Even if I went to the UK, I can't go live.
That you're saying something that they don't want people to hear.
Well, everybody,
more likely the truth.
Yeah, but there's millions of people that are on the same path as me. I just don't think that they've researched as much as I have. And I think they're really afraid of what the hell I have to say. Yeah. Especially after I shut down Craigslist with that 4-minute video.
Yeah.
Went 1.5 million people. I think they're terrified that, oh, she might get a channel up and then there might be over 300,000 people following her. And oh shit, you know, we can't have that. You know what I mean?
Well, look what's happened to Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, let's talk about him because I don't know what's going on with that ever. I do know the judge said, I do know that I have a judge, and I'll read it to you what was said.
We'll do that in a sec. Let me explain the story to start with.
Okay.
Tommy Robson was videoing outside a courtroom where there was 29 people charged with rape and abduction and all sorts of sexual
Child
things
grooming.
with children.
Yeah, because I was watching it. I was watching it. He was live.
27 of them were male, 2 were female.
Yes.
He was reading the names out and
Yes.
the indictments. Well, you would call the indictments, what they were arrested on, the charges that they faced.
Right.
And he read it all out. And it was in the local paper, and I even found it on the BBC website.
Well, I was watching it live. I was watching it when he went to jail.
Yeah.
I was watching it.
Then they picked him up and arrested him for breach of the peace.
Yep.
And then when he went to court, he was then went to jail for court. What do they call it?
He was only there for 4 hours, and they sentenced him to 13 months in jail.
Yeah, they put him in jail for contempt of court.
Yeah.
Now, the mad thing is, there was a Sikh outside that courtroom doing exactly the same thing as Tommy, reporting exactly the same thing, and he was really laying it on that they were Muslim rapists. Tommy wasn't saying it, the Sikh was saying it, and the Sikh is still walking around free. Why isn't he inside as well?
Well, when I was watching Tommy's video, Tommy was saying nobody was there, that nobody was there. Where was that person at? Because he even showed the streets and everything, and there was nobody, no reporters.
Tommy was on his own. The Sikh was reporting either the day before or just before Tommy started recording.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, Tommy, he even got shoved by one of the guys as he walked by.
Yeah.
He got shoved, and he asked the police officer, he goes, would I go to jail if I shoved, one of these guys? And they're like, yeah, you would. And he's like, well, didn't you just see him shove me? And he's like, no, I didn't see it. Yeah, they did. We all saw it. And then they was like doing all kinds of slurs and talking about how F your mom, go F your mom, it was all kinds of stuff sexually. Now, I want to tell you something else that's been going on, but I want to find this judge though, so that I can tell you what judge it is that said that Tommy was arrested illegally. Because I put it on.
While you're finding that, I'll explain something else a minute.
Okay.
Now, I personally don't like the way Tommy does things. I think his heart's in the right place. He's saying the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's right in your face all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's his way of campaigning. I don't agree with it. It's not something I would do. I like to be a bit more sassy.
Doesn't that do like somebody's privacy or something if they're like right up in your face? Tell me, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I'm talking metaphorically. He's up front, he's loud, he's boisterous. It's not really the way we do things in Britain. He's over the top.
Okay, I found it. It says UK judge admits Tommy Robinson's sentence without due process.
Yeah.
It says the judge who imprisoned Tommy Robinson caused a gasp in the courtroom after admitting he did not bother watching the content that Tommy Robinson was streaming, despite deciding to imprison him on the bias of content he was streaming. Tommy Robinson was arrested, charged, and sentenced within 5 hours on Tuesday without having access to his lawyer. Robinson was summarily tried and sentenced to 13 months behind bars. He was then transported to Hall Prison. How could the judge have known Tommy Robinson broke the law if he did not even bother watching the content?
Yeah.
The short answer is he did not follow due process. Tommy Robinson has been imprisoned illegally and must the growing international movement demanding his release must continue to press for justice.
Yeah.
According to Robinson's producer, Cohen Robertson, who was in court during Robinson's sentencing, Judge Geoffrey Marson QC admitted that he barely watched Robertson's live stream, despite it being the focal point of Robinson's arrest, according to the arresting officers themselves. The number one most significant thing that actually caused a little bit of a gasp in the courtroom from a couple of members of the press was when the judge actually admitted that he hadn't watched the full live stream of Tommy talking. Robertson said on the Alex Jones show on Tuesday. He only watched a very, very brief moment of it before he made up his mind to imprison Tommy. Europe Infowars report, in contrast, during the arrest, the police told Robertson he was creating a breach of peace based on the content of what you're streaming. In other words, the content the judge never bothered to watch. How could the judge claim Robertson was tainting a trial if he hadn't watched Robertson's full live stream?
Well, my argument is, how can he be arrested for breach of the peace?
Hang on.
And then be contempt of court? How do they change it? That's
what I'm going to finish. Robertson could have simply been talking about the weather, and the judge's sentence would have still remained the same, given the judge's self-admitted ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems that Judge Marson didn't base his decision to imprison Robinson exclusively on the evidence presented. Additionally, Robinson and his film crew were reporting outside the courthouse where the Muslim grooming trial was almost over, and according to Robertson, they were careful to only report on facts of the case which were already public, given that Robertson was previously accused of committing contempt last year.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Retreat reported on this before the outlet scrubbed its article due to the judge's gag order against press covering the arrest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the judge put a section 42, is it, or something like that on it, which meant there would be no reporting. He said that reporting on Tommy's case would affect the trial that he was also judging, which was the 29 defendants for the sex grooming gang.
Yeah, well, and see, that's the thing. It says, meaning that this simple fact was kept hidden from the public. Retreat spoke to Robertson's producer, Colin Robertson, about the confrontation outside of Leeds Crown Court and Robertson's subsequent arrest. Their case has been going on for a year, Robertson said. Tommy had all the publicity available information, and on that live stream, he repeated the information that was already public. Now, I was watching. He did.
Yeah.
We were very careful with language as to not risk being held in contempt of court, and he kept saying this. The judge imprisoned Robertson under the assumption that his reporting would cause a mistrial by influencing jury opinion. But since Robertson was reporting on publicly available facts, and thus facts already available to the jury, how could this be accurate? And to declare a mistrial, a judge would have to look at what information had been leaked and whether it could have reasonably swayed the opinion of a jury. Since Judge Marson admitted he had never bothered to look into the content of Robertson's live stream, how could he know that Robertson reporting was evidence of jury tampering? And if Judge Marson wanted to keep a public attention away from the trial, he completely screwed that up by fueling an international news story with his arrest of Robertson and his sequential gag order against press coverage. Judge Marson held Robertson by shining a supernova of a spotlight on the trial, which Robertson couldn't have done alone. Yeah. In short, Judge Marson created a Streisand effect. Judge Marson's very own tactics have contributed to the alleged harm he claims Robertson has done by merely reporting on the trial, and despite claiming he's defending the due process of those accused at the trial. Judge Marson seems to have actually violated the due process of Robertson.
Yeah,
And that's
totally agree 100%. You see,
so
we wouldn't be talking about it
right.
if this hadn't happened.
Hmm.
Tommy would have done his live stream, it would have gone on the internet, a few people would have seen it, and that would have been it.
Right.
Now, it's all over the world.
Right.
Yesterday, on Saturday, they were, every British embassy, almost every British embassy throughout the world had demos free Tommy outside. That's
Wow, I
just
seen
incredible.
that. What was you at any of those demonstrations? Any of those protests?
No, I'm too far away to go and do it. It was the nearest one to me would have been London, and that means get in there and then I got to film, and I don't like crowds. I gotta be honest.
Well, not only
I
that,
would
but
have
you might
liked
go to
to have
prison
gone.
for filming.
I would have liked to have gone. I would have liked to have got the video of it. I would have liked to have seen exactly what happens. But
Well,
when you've
I
got the
seen
police content to... The guy that phoned me this morning said he was up there. The police kettled them. And then they started pushing people in the front. Now, they either pushed the people they knew were going to cause trouble, or the people they were pushing were plants
Oh, I could see,
to
yeah.
create the trouble.
Right.
I don't know. The jury's out on that one.